Hey everybody, it's Sam here from sugarsfunrun.com, and today I'm showing you how to make the ultimate chocolate cookies. If you're a chocolate lover like I am, you are going to absolutely love these ultimate chocolate cookies. They are loaded with not only cocoa powder, but 3 different kinds of chocolate chips, and then they are rolled in a cocoa sugar mixture. I think you guys are going to love these, so let's get started. Now the first thing you're going to need is 1 cup of unsalted butter, and as you can see, I've gone ahead and melted this. You want to melt your butter. So my butter has actually been cooling for about 10 minutes or so now. As you can see, it's losing that translucent color that it gets when it's too hot. So now I'm going to add 1 1/4 cups of tightly packed light brown sugar. We'll also add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and just use a spoon or spatula to stir these together until completely combined. Next, we'll add our eggs, and you are going to need 1 large egg plus 1 large egg yolk for this recipe. Now this extra yolk really helps make these cookies nice and chewy and fudgy. I'll also add 1 1/2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, and then just stir everything together. Now we're going to need a separate bowl for our dry ingredients. You're going to need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Put this in a separate bowl. And one of my favorite ingredients in these ultimate chocolate cookies is I like to add just a 1/2 teaspoon of instant coffee. Now this is optional, but adding this instant coffee, what it's going to do is it's really going to accentuate that chocolate flavor. It's going to bring out a great flavor in these cookies. It's not going to make your cookies taste like coffee. Another key ingredient that I use in so many of my cookie recipes is 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. Now the cornstarch is just going to help keep our cookies from spreading too much. It's going to keep them nice and thick and chewy, so you'll definitely want to use that. You'll also need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And I almost forgot potentially our most important ingredient, and that's 1/2 cup of natural cocoa powder. So we'll stir this in with our dry ingredients. So now that we have all of our dry ingredients combined, we're going to bring back our wet ingredients that we just prepared, and we're going to gradually add the dry ingredients until completely combined. I'm going to switch over to mixing with my spatula. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for me. Now we are going to add our chocolate chips. So I'm going to be using 3 different types of chocolate chips in these ultimate chocolate cookies. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 cup of milk chocolate chips, a 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I'm using all Ghirardelli chocolate chips, and I'm just telling you that because in case you're wondering why the chocolate chips are so big, that's why. It's just because of the brand. And I'm also using 1/2 cup of mini chocolate chips. Now you only need a 1/2 cup of each chocolate chip in the batter, but as you might see here, I've actually reserved an additional 1/2 cup of chocolate chips, and this is a blend of all 3 of those chocolate chips. These are going to come into play after we've baked our cookies, so measure them out and set them aside. Now we're just going to stir our chocolate chips into our batter. And this is a very thick batter, it's supposed to be. For best results, we'll want to chill our cookie dough for 30 minutes. Now you'll want to cover your bowl before chilling. I usually cover mine with plastic wrap, but I'm actually out today, so I'm just covering mine with foil. About 15 minutes before our dough has finished chilling, we're going to want to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So my oven is actually already preheated, and this dough has finished chilling. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my cocoa sugar mixture. So to make this mixture, what you're going to need is a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of natural cocoa powder. I'm just going to combine these together in a bowl and just use a spoon to stir it together so that cocoa powder is nicely incorporated in with that granulated sugar. It smells so good. Now we can go ahead and scoop our cookie dough. Now I'm going to be using a 1 1/2 tablespoon sized cookie scoop, and I'll link to that in the description below. I'm just going to scoop my cookie dough. I'll roll it between my palms so we have a nice chocolate cookie ball, and then roll this through the granulated cocoa sugar mixture. Now we'll transfer our cookie dough to our 350 degree Fahrenheit preheated oven, where it will bake for 11 to 12 minutes. Now as soon as these cookies come out of the oven, you have about a minute to add additional chocolate chips. Remember that 1/2 cup of assorted chocolate chips we saved from earlier? What we're going to do is we're going to take them and just gently nestle them onto the top of each cookie. This step is optional, but I really love the extra chocolate. Plus, it makes them look very nice. One final thing that I love doing with these chocolate cookies is I like to take some sea salt and just sprinkle that over each cookie. That slightly salty flavor mixed with the cocoa sugar and the sweetness and the chocolate, it tastes so good. That is how you make the ultimate chocolate cookies. I really think all you chocolate lovers out there are going to love today's recipe. If you try this one out, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I always love hearing from you. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's recipe, and I'll see you next time. Hey, if you guys enjoyed today's ultimate chocolate cookie recipe, I would really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Also, if you enjoyed today's recipe, here are a few others you might like as well.